Hello there, it's Donna from Taffy Crafting. I just wanted to come on with a really quick project today. Just wondered if you sometimes see other crafters online and you think, oh, their products are really complicated, but they're really effective. I could never do that. Let me show you how easy it is with a few very simple products. So with this card, I just took some cardstock. That's just pink cardstock. I had some DSP, this is from the Garden Impressions range, and just some scraps of cards that I had. And I want to show you how easy it is to make a simple yet extremely pretty card. And that's the great thing about this particular DSP, is that it's just so bright and colourful and that you don't really need a whole lot else to go with it. Anyway, let me show you how easy it is to do this. So this is from the same range of DSP. This is still available until the end of May, and these are all 6x6 and they are all such beautiful vibrant colours, and probably video doesn't really do them any justice, but they've got lovely bright vibrant colours here, and then on the back you could use those maybe as backgrounds if you wanted to. So I've still got a few sheets of that left, and it is just really, it's just pretty and very vibrant. And there are lots of bits of cardstock that match with that. I really haven't found it a problem delving into my stash of cardstock and looking for something that matches it, because it's got so much colour going on in it. You'll find something that matches. So for these two, because I really love these colours, we've got the blue is Night of Navy. Some of the yellow in there is So Saffron, and there is a lighter colour, and I've just picked out just some scrap of yellow card to make a sentiment. But let me show you how easy it is to make. I'm going to make two cards. So imagine you've got a couple of birthdays next week, and you've gone in the card shops and there's not a great deal there to choose from. You just want something easy and simple. I have got a sheet of A4 cardstock here, and I am going to slice that in half. So I've got the long side there, and I'm just going to line that up at 5 7/8, and I'm just going to slice that in half like that. And with both of them, I'm going to turn it back to the long side of this, put it inside my paper trimmer, which also doubles up as a scorer, and I'm going to line that up to 4 1/8, and then just score that down the middle like that. And I'm going to do the same with the other one. 4 1/4, score it. So there are my two card bases. The only thing I probably would do with this, obviously, unless you have one of those kind of glitter gel metallic pens, you might actually want to put some white paper in there. I just use photocopy paper, just very cheap photocopy paper, and just stick that in there so that you can write, or find one of those pretty gel pens that you can write with. So I'm just going to put those to one side for now. Here's the two DSP that I'm going to use, and what I'm going to do is trim these to 3 7/8 by 5 5/8. So let's just quickly do that. Paper trimmer out again. So I'm going to watch the direction of this. I don't really know. I think I want it that way. Yeah. So 3 7/8. By 5 5/8. That's not 5 5/8, that's 5 5/8. And I'm going to do the same with this one. There is a direction to this, so I need to make sure that this top edge here is trimmed to 4 and, what did I say, 3 7/8. Although that is working on it being portrait like that, but you could have it like that as landscape. It's entirely up to you. So let's do that one landscape. Let me just show you how you can do two totally different cards. Well, not totally different. One's portrait, one's landscape. And we'll do this one portrait. So 3 7/8 by 5 5/8. Now I can put that to one side. So I won't fold this yet because sometimes I find it difficult to stick it down if it's already folded. So I'm going to put that there like that. Nice and simple. So I'm just going to get some adhesive, which I've put down somewhere. There it is. So just a thin layer of glue all the way around there. You could do this with any DSP. If you've got some bigger scraps kicking around, you can do this with any DSP and coordinating cardstock. And you know, that's a great thing about Stampin' Up's entire range, is that it is all coordinated. You do not have to go away and work out what you're going to match that with. On the back of the pack of the DSP, it says on the back exactly what colours are within that pack of DSP. Then you can choose your cardstock to go with that. Let's just put that to one side to dry, and then this one, we'll put that there. Just going to drop that on there like that. Just line it up. Good thing about wet glue, it does give you a chance to just wiggle it a bit to get it in place. So there we have 2 cards. We're not going to leave them like that. So I'm going to have this one as just a general saying, you know, so happy for you, or something like that. So I've got some yellow cardstock here. This is it's not so saffron. Oh, I can't remember what it's called. Oh, the name's gone right out of my head. It could be, but I don't think it is. It's not the daffodil one. I think it is So Saffron, actually. Sorry, that has gone totally out of my head. So that's going to sit on there like that. So what I'm going to do, I'm actually going to get a punch for this, but you don't have to. You really, really don't have to. You could just trim that. You might want to round the corners and just have it like that. So you could use the triple banner punch and have that some triangles cut away, or you could use, I'll just get it to show you, or you've got the detail trio punch, and this will round the corners. This will put a nice little pattern on the end. I'll show you. Oops, everything goes flying. So I've got that little bit of scrap there. If I put that in like that, and that cuts that out at the end, it's actually really pretty because you can see the pattern underneath. I use that quite a lot. I think that is a really pretty thing to use. But for this project, I'm going to use the triple banner punch. And I've got a piece of So Saffron, and that measures, I'll just quickly check that, 1 inch. And I think that's 1 inch by 4 inches. No, it's not. It's 1 inch by 4.5 inches. And I've made that longer than I want because actually when you put it through the punch, it shortens it a little bit. So I'll show you what I mean. Let's get that out of the way. So I'm just going to push that in there to the punch like that. And then you've got, this is a triple banner punch, so you can put other sizes in there. So that is 1.5, and then that is 2 inches. So you can layer them up if you want to. So just on either side, You see how much that shortens that by? It's taken actually quite a lot off it. So you need to bear that in mind when you're chopping that. And I'm just going to sit that just right in the middle, because that DSP is enough in a card for somebody to say, oh, isn't that pretty? Well, I think it is anyway. So I've got the Abstract Impressions stamp set. I really like this, I think, because I like the font on it, and this is the one that I'm going to use. I've already got that loaded up on, oh, sorry about the light flicking there on, why has that suddenly done that? Oh, sorry about that. So we've got the Abstract Impressions stamp set, and it's a photopolymer, which means that you can actually see where you're stamping. So when you put it over the card, you can actually see where it is. One of the advantages of photopolymer. I like photopolymer stamps. I find them easier to use purely because you can see where that's going. So I'm going to get some Night of Navy ink, which I forgot to get out before I started filming. There's Night of Navy. I love this colour. It is a beautiful, stunning colour. So I'm just going to line that up there. So happy about your happy news. Sometimes we want to tell people if somebody's had a really lovely piece of news, whatever that is. So that is going to sit on our card like that. And I'm not just going to stick it down like that, although you could just stick that down with some glue, job done. I like to stick sentiments like that down with mini dimensionals. I like to give that a little bit of height. So I'm just going to take these, the tiny little hexagons, and I'm going to put one on one end, one in the middle, and one at the other end. Oh, the backing's come off of that. And then these little things, you take the backing off and you're left with that. These are all over my house. It doesn't matter how many times I get the Hoover out, these are still all over the house. You find them in your clothes, down your bra, everywhere. They're just everywhere, all over my house. You have been warned. So I've put those on the back there, taken the backing strips off. Oh, nearly stuck it upside down. And just line it up. And there we go. A lovely, simple card. So when you are looking at other people's projects online, you think, oh, that's it, I can't do that. Let's find another hobby that I could do. Actually, you don't need to have a whole load of skill and a whole load of product. Some cardstock, some DSP and some ink. And that's all you need. If I was going to make that just a little bit more special, as I've built up my collection of craft supplies, they kind of take over the house. I'll try and confine them to one room. I've always got a few of these left over, so these little rhinestones. Now I need to find something to pick them up with. I normally use tweezers, but they're the other side of the room. I'm just going to put a little rhinestone on there like that. I don't know if you can see that. And it just lifts it a little bit, just makes it that little bit more special. Without it, the card is lovely. With it, it does just lift it. I can't see it. I'm struggling with my eyes tonight. There we are. There we go. One card. How long has that taken us? Gosh, have I been chatting for that long? There's one card. Let's do the other one while we're here. So there's the portrait one. So let me show you something else with this, something that I actually haven't, something I haven't prepped. I'm going to show you how we layer this up. So I've got that. I've got a bit of Night of Navy cardstock. Let's get rid of that. And I'm going to trim this to 4.5 again. And I'm going to trim this to 1.5 inches. I'll show you what I'm going to do. So that's going to sit, oh, that's way too long. I'll trim that in a second. And I've got a bit of, you see where I've been cutting out circles? And then this piece I'm going to trim to 1 inch, and I'm going to layer up my sentiments. So I'm going to trim that to 1 inch, and I'm going to trim that to 4 inches. So the other one was 4.5. Was it 4.5? Yeah, the other one was 4.5, and then that one's 4. And we'll see if it works out. There's my triple banner punch again. Take my Knight of Navy card, and I'm just going to slot that through there like that. It really couldn't be easier. I'm going to line it up with anything. It just pushes in. You punch it. You've got a little banner thing on the end. And sometimes, let me show you what sometimes people do with banners. Sometimes they have them coming down like that, or coming out like that. All sorts of things. I actually quite like them when they're like that, and then they layer them up and all of that. I'm going to get the other end, push that into the punch. So that's one part of my label, and then I'm going to have another one sat on top of it. I'm going to layer it up a little bit. So this is 1 inch wide, and I'm just going to feed that through there like that. Now, you wouldn't necessarily need to go and have a punch, but gosh, it makes life easy. You can just get a pair of scissors and cut into there. This, you know, the punch just makes it so much easier. So much easier. So we're going to have that. Let's get our card back. And I'm going to sit that. Goodness me. God, those sizes absolutely bang on. So that was 4.5 inches in length, and it fits almost just about perfectly. And then this one, got a bit of muck on there, this one was 4 inches by 1 inch, so 4.5 inches by 1.5. This one 4 inches by 1 inch. Let's get something stamped on there. So I've got my Knight of Navy ink again, lost my ink block, which I've put there. It is over there. What else could we have? Oh look, here's something sweet. I wouldn't normally say this to somebody because I'm not sentimental like that, but this is how the photopolymer stamps come in this lovely crinkly, oh no, I get ink all over me. What's the one that I wanted? This. If flowers, what does it say? If flowers were hugs, I'd send you 1,000. Oh. Sometimes when you don't know what to say to somebody, maybe they've had a bit of bad news, maybe they're going through a tough time. Sometimes it's difficult to know what to say, isn't it? And I end up, oh, that doesn't fit. Oh, it might fit. And I always end up, I feel like I'm saying the wrong thing. Don't need to worry now, just give them a card. I'm just going to test. I've got that on my mucky side, and I'm just going to test that this actually fits. And if it does, it's going to be a little bit of a miracle. Good grief. Perfecto. So I'm going to line that up there just so that I can make sure, because I've got my light shining on this, and it's a bit difficult for me to see, so it might just go off. Oh, just stamp it, Donna, for goodness sake. There we go. You can be a bit scared of it sometimes. I think that might be a little bit... Oh, it's fine. If anybody wants to take this card and measure it and check that it's not central, go ahead. Okay, so I'm going to put that on there, and I'm going to glue that on. There's me wanting to make a quick video. I've been going on for 19 minutes. Glued that on, quick wiggle to get it right, and then I'll use dimensionals for these, which I've put there. I've put them down. So I'm putting one in the middle so it doesn't sag in the middle. Can't have a saggy middle. And just take the backing paper off. And I'll just drop that in there like that. And because the other card has got some rhinestones on it, this one will as well. Oh, let's put that one up there, otherwise I'll cover up the words. And I'm going to put that one there. And there we go. So very, very quickly, very, very simply, I have made that card. And I have made that card. And I've put the other one down somewhere. What did I do with that? I had another one somewhere because I've just taken a photograph of it. And I showed it to you right at the beginning of the video. Well, I did have another card. There it is. There it is. The only difference with this one is that I just had some green card and I got my leaf punch, my coordinating leaf punch. Shall I show you that? Leaf punch. Love this. Don't know why it took me so long to buy this, because actually it's really nice when you're using floral DSP to then go and get a leaf punch and have some leaves hanging out of it. So there we are. 3 very simple cards that I've made in less than half an hour. So if I've got some birthdays coming up, or I just want to send somebody a card to say that I'm thinking of them, done very quickly. Does not need any special skills. You need some card, some DSP, bit of ink, bit of glue. And it is so super easy. Why don't you give it a go? Come and visit my shop. The link is in the description bar below, and come and have a browse. All of this here is still available until the end of May, and then we have a new catalogue launching on the 4th of June. I'll leave a link to my Facebook page, and then you can come and join me there. I've got a catalogue launch night on Friday the 7th of June, and I'd love you to come and join me. Thanks again, and I will see you all again soon. Bye bye.